Today I'm going to show you how you can turn your Zoom meetings from this to this. So Zoom and Zoom meetings, it's now a household name. Um, it's used for video conferencing, distance learning, homeschooling, meetings, webinars, online trainings, you name it. Everybody uses Zoom. Uh, Especially after when the pandemic hit, everyone's working from home, working remote. I use Zoom about at the very least twice a day. So I have Zoom meetings twice a day. I also do webinars. I do my consulting calls via Zoom. So it's very useful, right? So it's so important now to improve the quality of your Zoom meetings. And in this training, I will share three secrets, right? One, why the quality of your Zoom meetings matter. And the second secret is how you can improve the quality of your Zoom meetings. And the third secret is the what of it all, right? And I'm going to show you what I use for my Zoom meetings and how I can make it look like this, pretty good quality. So, to address the first question, why does the quality of your Zoom meetings matter? Well, if you attend Zoom meetings and if you're just listening, right? If you're just a listener or a spectator in a Zoom meeting, it may not be a big deal. Your camera may be off and you're just listening, you're not participating, so it may not be a big deal. But if you're hosting, if you're teaching, if you're contributing, and if you're participating and interacting uh, within the Zoom meeting, it's always a good idea that the quality of your presentation or your audio and video is acceptable, right? Because that's how we got to think about how the people on the other side of the screen receives the information from you. So, and with that, the quality of your audio and video is key, and it has to be good quality. Now, when we talk about quality is very subjective, right? So, we're going to split the quality in two different things. One is audio, one is video, right? So, video is 50% of the experience, and same with audio, they're 50-50. Now when we talk about video, first we got to think about the source of the video, right, which is the camera. Now depending on the device you're using, or the computer, laptop device that you're using, it all varies, right? If you're using a laptop, most likely it has a built-in camera. uh, iPads and iPhones are also being used in Zoom, and most of the time the built-in front camera is used to capture you and present you in the Zoom meeting. Now, there are a few who may not have laptop or may not have webcams on their laptops. So in those cases, maybe they have an external webcam, which is also easily available in the market right now, ranging from $50 to $100, and some even more and higher quality. Especially if you have a desktop computer that does not have a built-in webcam, so some people would have to buy an external webcam so they can have video. Now, for some of the advanced users, they use a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera, or any a certain point and shoot cameras also provide a really good quality of video. So these are the things that we need to consider, right? The video source. What camera are you using? Because that affects the overall quality of the video, again, which is half of the experience in a Zoom meeting. Now, second is, well, actually, before we go to the sound, there's also another part of the video that matters, right? One is lighting. So just because you have a nice camera or a nice laptop with a pretty good webcam, If you have bad lighting, that ruins everything too. So we got to consider uh, the light source, your light source. Are you getting natural light? Are you just using the light in your bedroom? Or do you use external lights? So these are the things that you can also consider. Um, Sometimes you use the light from the monitor. If you're facing a monitor, you can just open up like a white space, open up Microsoft Word or anything that just put uh, a white space on the monitor. That could also act as a nice soft light, right? So that also affects the quality of the video lighting. And third is the background. So you could have a good camera, a good lighting, but if you have a background that's distracting, it, it's not considered good quality. Sometimes I would go to meetings and I would have someone talking to someone where the camera would be facing up, and then you would see a ceiling fan behind the person just spinning, right? So they're doing a presentation and you got a ceiling fan spinning behind them. So that gets very distracting. So if you're teaching uh, or doing some kind of presentation, you should also consider what kind of background. And we're also going to talk about the different, virtual backgrounds, kind of like what you see right now. Um, so those are the three things, right? On video, you get the source, lighting, and background. Things that we have to consider. Now, on the second half of the quality is the audio or the sound. So again, this is 50% of the overall quality of the presentation that you're putting out there. So, and I think personally, I think the audio is more important than video when it comes to Zoom meetings, because the information comes through audio, right? If I'm teaching, the information that I'm conveying is transmitted through audio. So I could have my camera turned off, but if my audio is clear, my students or my attendees on the other side can still benefit from that training. Now, there would be cases where a video is more important than audio. So if you are teaching, let's say if you're doing a sign language class, then obviously video is more important. So that's why I say for the most part, audio is more important than video if we have to prioritize. So let's talk about the audio sources, right? So again, if you're using a laptop or an iPad or an iPhone for your Zoom meeting, most likely you're using the built-in mic of on the phone or on the laptop. There's other options is using external mics. There's different types of external mics. There's what's called a shotgun mic. So a shotgun mic. This is not a shotgun mic, but it may look like this. So it's cylindrical. It's like this, and then it points to you, and whatever it points to, it captures all the audio from there. So this usually a shotgun mic is used on video production. So most videographers would use it. They would have it mounted on their DSLR camera or whatever camera they're using, or sometimes they have a boom person that actually holds the mic and points it to the mouth or the general area of the person talking. So advanced users use shotgun mics, but most users will use a condenser mic or a USB mic or something like this. It looks like a condenser microphone, like a studio microphone, but this is actually a USB mic. So I'll show you some of the samples, the quality later. And another way is to use lav mics, lavalier microphones, kind of like this. This is what I'm using right now. So you can clip it on your lapel or your shirt. It provides a closer proximity to you, and you get better quality sound. And one thing also, if you're using an iPad or an iPhone, I don't have it with me, but you can, actually here. So you can use the headset or the microphone that comes with your iPhone, right? I think this is better than using the onboard iPad or iPhone microphone, because it's, if you're using an onboard microphone, it just captures every single thing around it. So for example, I do have a fan right here because it's pretty warm. So I do have a fan. If I was using an iPhone, then it'll capture the sound of the fan. But since I'm using a lav mic, you probably don't hear as much or at all. I have to put it real close here for you to hear the fan, right? Granted, it's not really loud, but if you have a sensitive microphone, it captures every single thing that's happening. And that's next thing that I wanted to talk about is the things that we need to consider when we're deciding or when we're looking at the audio piece, when we're looking at the audio hardware. So one thing to consider is the distance to the mic, right? If you have a shotgun microphone, like I mentioned earlier, it picks up the sound on where it's pointing to. It's very directional. If you're using a laptop mic or the built-in mic of iPad or iPhone or an iMac, for example, then it's pretty good, but it could also hear, if it's farther away from your mouth, it tends to hear a lot of the things that are happening around the scene. So it may not be a good, so if you have dogs barking, if you have like a gardener outside, working, then that could also affect the quality of the audio, because the people on the other side will hear a lot of noise. Again, and part of that too is the ambient noise. So are you on a quiet spot? Are you in a bedroom, or are you in the living room where someone's watching TV, or do you have kids that are running around and playing? So these are the things that affect the quality of the audio. Especially everyone right now is working remote. Everyone is working from home. If you have children, I think it's inevitable that there will be noise, right? So we got to consider the ambient noise. And with that, I'm going to show you a different samples on how it sounds like. So just to simulate the ambient noise, I'm going to put the fan close here, close to me. It's about like a foot away from me. So I guess I'm assuming it's not loud on the output, but I'm recording, so I guess after this recording we can tell how loud it is, but at least you can hear. This is with a fan pointing at me a foot away, right? And even I'm guessing that even if you're there might be a small sound, like a little bit of sound from the fan, but since the mic is closer to my mouth, I'm pretty sure that my voice still overpowers the fan. So now we're gonna switch audio. Actually, I can see that the levels are kind of up because it's pointing. Actually, I'm gonna try it again. So I'm not gonna point the fan. It's still a foot away, but I'm gonna point it not directly to my mic. I'm gonna point it to the side. So now there's still some ambient noise. I hear the fan blowing, but I'm pretty sure that my voice is still overpowering. Now we're gonna move to the audio on the iMac. So the iMac is the computer that's in front of me, and it's about 2 feet away from me. So we're going to switch to the iMac. So this is the iMac microphone, which is 2 feet away from me, and I'm just speaking on a normal voice. I'm not projecting. And between the iMac and myself, a foot away, there's this fan that's blowing. That's the quality, and that's what I said, whatever's happening, and it's pretty quiet right now apart from the fan. So anything that's happening, if I had a gardener outside or a dog barking or kids screaming, you will hear it, because the mic is just further away, and it just tends to capture everything. Now another mic I wanted to show you is this. This is a mic that's plugged in directly to a USB to the computer. So I'm really not 100% sure how different it is between the lav mic and this. So I'm gonna go back to the lav mic. Okay, so this is the lav mic, and testing 1 2 3. This is what it sounds like. Now I'm gonna turn on this mic. Now we're talking to this microphone right here. This is the USB, and I think this is more sensitive. This is more used for podcasts where it's pure voice. But I also use this a lot uh, on on Zoom meetings. The only thing I don't like about this is that it's like right in front of me. So and I tend to use my hand a lot when I talk, when I gesture. So this could be like on the way. Some people mount it like on top overhead. So it's up to you. But I'm just using like a desk arm right here, a boom arm that I can move it around. So I move it a little bit further. It's about 6 inches away. Yeah. So this is the USB microphone, and I'm gonna switch back to the lav mic. And this is we're back on the lav mic. And this is not a wireless. This is wired. So I do have it under my shirt, and I have like an 18-foot cable that plugs into the computer. So those are the different types of audio sources that you can use, and I'm sure there's more. I don't have a shotgun mic to test, but I think that's more for advanced users. If you want a really good quality condenser studio microphone, but you don't want it in front of you, kind of in the way, especially if you're showing something, then you might want to use a shotgun mic. So it's going to be sitting somewhere farther back, that's pointed to you, and it'll capture everything that's coming from here. Now, so again, just to summarize, video and audio, 50%, right, of the quality. 50% is video, 50% is audio. So depending on what's important to you, which in my personal opinion is audio is more important than video. If you're using Zoom meetings, I would prioritize that. Now, the biggest question, which is the third secret, and that's, most of the questions that I receive is how can you improve the quality of your Zoom meetings? I'm afraid there's no one straight answer for this, right? So what I do is, usually if people ask me, they see my webinars, they see the videos that I publish, and they're like, oh, it's such a great quality. How can I do that? How can I improve the quality of my videos or my Zoom meetings? Well, again, so what I do is I would spend some time consulting with them. That's one of the things I consult on, is helping people with things like this, right? As simple as improving the quality of a Zoom meeting, because there is no one right answer. I can't tell you right now this is what you need to do to improve your Zoom meetings. I have shown you the elements that you need to look into: video, audio, background. Actually, I haven't spoken about background, which I'm going to talk about next. And assess it. What do you have, and what do you need to accomplish, and how much money do you have to spend? Because you could go, if you want to go all out, because a big part of this too is lighting. I mentioned earlier lighting. And a big part of my lighting is, since I used to be a photographer, a wedding photographer, I've gone through training when it comes to lighting. But for someone who doesn't understand yet the basics of lighting and how it works, I'm assuming you're going to be using natural light. Are you going to be sitting next to a window, or is there going to be downlighting from your ceiling, which gives you a lot of shadows on your face? So those are the things that that you need to consider. Again, there's no one right answer. It really depends on what hardware do you have right now. What do you use for Zoom? Do you use an iPad, a laptop, a computer? What camera are you using? Or is it a built-in cam, a built-in webcam? Or do you have an external DSLR? But again, so depending on what you have and where you want to go, you might need to spend some money. But it doesn't mean you always have to spend money. So again, it really depends on what you have. And I can advise you on the next step, depending on how much money you want to spend. Or if you don't want to spend, maybe we can rig it. Maybe we can start talking about natural lighting. Maybe we can set you up where you're next to a window where it has like nice natural soft light. That'll help. When it comes to backgrounds, are you facing a wall? Are you facing your kitchen with a lot of activity going on? So that could be distracting. Uh, a lot of the things we can do, but there's always a way to fix these problems, right? I would suggest I would probably leave a link below for my calendar, and you can pick. I can consult with you, and I can help you get get your Zoom meeting from this, right? If you're doing Zoom meetings like this, where you just have some junk in there, and from this to this, all right? Now, before I leave, I want to talk about background, because now everybody's going crazy about the virtual backgrounds. Again, it depends. Do you want to spend money? If you don't want to spend any money, Zoom has the ability. And actually, I should record a meeting right now with Zoom. Okay, so I have Zoom right now, and I will start recording this. This is a Zoom meeting right here. I'm recording a Zoom meeting. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna switch the camera, and I'm gonna use the built-in camera without any virtual background, right? So this is just the basic Mac computer using Zoom, using the built-in camera, and this is what you get. Right now, we're gonna talk about the virtual backdrops. So there is a really cool feature on Zoom where you can use a virtual background. And this is for example, this is what's the very basic background that comes with it. You can either use a moving background like this, or this is like a video file, or you can choose like a static background. This is a static background. Now, regardless of what you use, whether if it's a moving background or a static, just a photo of a background, notice that if you're using just the regular virtual background and don't use the green screen mode, you can see how it's not perfect. So what it does is these newer cameras, iPad, iPhone, any newer Macs, it has the ability to detect which one is the foreground, which is you or the subject, and which one is the background, right? So it can tell that this right here is a foreground, and it just strips the background and then puts you on top of the image, right? But again, as you can see right now, it's not perfect. See, you can see the green on my hand, and it cuts off. So for the most part, this is what people are using, right? People are just so people on the other side can't see that, oh, this is my kitchen, or you got like people running around. It just isolates you as a subject and puts you on an image, which is, for the most part, it's pretty cool, but like, I'm not happy with this. Like, I'm not gonna do a web class or some kind of webinar with this. And my problem with this is that if let's say I do have a class and I'm trying to show something. So for example, I'm trying to show you this pen, right? See, it's hard. It's having a hard time. See how it's disappearing? It's having a hard time isolating that pen, because now it's confusing. Now there's different layers. There's me, and there's this pen right here, and then there's the background. So it's not perfect. Now, one way to address this is putting a green screen behind you. Notice that I do have a green screen. So this is I bought this from Amazon. This is just like a sticker, like a paper with adhesive you can put on any wall, right? Obviously, it's not. I don't use it for the iMac camera. That's why it's not full. You can see there's a crop there. But the good thing about this is, if I say I have a green screen and I pick that same it's a little better, right? I mean, it's still kind of like rough on the edges, but the cool thing about this is it doesn't have to figure out where you are or the background, the foreground. It's just having a hard time. It's not perfect in in terms of like cutting you all around you, right? And it's still a little janky. I mean, it's granted it's dark in here, but it's still way better than earlier, right? And the cool thing about this is if I needed to show something on camera, it's, yeah, see, it doesn't have to calculate anything. So this is a better solution if you want to use a virtual background or virtual, you know, whether it's an image or it's moving, get a green screen. This is like, I think, $30 for like a big roll. That should be enough to capture your entire wall. But as you can see, if it cuts down here because, you know, I don't use this. I use a different camera for my meetings. I'm just giving you an example, just so you can see how it kind of works with a green screen. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Again, there's really no one answer when it comes to how we're going to improve yours, but I hope the information here is good enough where you can take the next step. For those of you that are not super techy, that don't know what to do, you can, I'll post the link below. You can purchase an hour of my time. I think an hour is enough for us to go through what you have, what you need to, and what it would take to get you to where you need to be. So I'm gonna stop recording on the Zoom, and so I can use this video. Yeah, so I'll put the link below on my calendar. You can purchase an hour of my time if you want, or just right through the thread here, the description. This is going to be on YouTube and Facebook, so just make a comment, and then whatever I can answer, I'll help however I can. But if you want to secure an hour of my time, again, the calendar is below, and I'd be happy. I've helped a lot of people with their Zoom setups, and I'm sure we can help you out too. So I hope this has been helpful, at least to point you to the right direction. Okay, so your Zoom meetings don't have to be boring, and again, there's a way to make it pop. There's a way to make it nicer and more presentable, especially if you're hosting, teaching, and or participating in any Zoom meetings. It's good to have a nice quality audio and video setup. Okay, so again, I hope this helps, and I'll catch you in the next video.